What is going on, YouTube? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Today, guys, we're talking about selling comics undervalue. What's up with that? Before I get into that, though, guys, I want to give a big shout out to each and every one of you. I woke up this morning, we hit 3,000 subs, well over that now. I think we're like 315. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that has supported me, week after week, month after month, and allowed us to get to this milestone. So, this is only the beginning. A lot of good things on the horizon. Here's to 5,000. That's the next goal. We're going to keep moving. I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, guys, we have until this Thursday. If you haven't entered my 3K sub contest yet, to do so, find my contest video, watch that, and see what you need to do in order to enter. It's really easy. I also have my Patreon only contest. Link below on how to become a patron for only $3.99 a month. So yeah, with that being said, guys, let's get into this video talking about selling comics for undervalue. Now, I had a situation where I was scrolling Facebook, as I always do. I'm involved in so many groups to talk about this all the time. By the way, guys, Facebook, when it comes to comic books, is probably one of the most toxic places, even worse than YouTube. So I hope that one of you watching aren't the toxic type, but man. So I see this post. Somebody is in search of, it's in a comic book group. Somebody was in search of a Strange Academy #1 Art Adams variant. And they stated, looking for one at a reasonable value, and I don't want eBay prices. Okay, so we're going to talk about this, right? We are going to talk about this idea that eBay prices, for one main example here, are not valid fair market value prices. What's up with that? Let me break this down. First off, you got to look at what books you're looking at. Are you looking at key books? Are you looking at run fillers and so forth? I've talked about this in videos before. All right. Let me start off by saying this before I really address this individual's statement, and I commented on it and got a lot of pushback. But let me state this first and foremost, guys. Sometimes eBay prices can be bloated for comic books, all right? But usually it's for books that are not key books. It's for books that really don't have much value whatsoever. Say run fillers, randoms, all right? You could go into a comic book store, an LCS, and dive in back bins and find run fillers for $1, $2, $3, up to $5, right? When it comes to eBay, if it's a single issue book being sold and it's a random run filler, good luck having it be at that same price, because you're also going to, for one, pay for shipping. So if there's a book that you could find at your local LCS for $3, it may be on eBay for $5, but you're also going to pay $4, $5 for shipping. That's normal, guys. That's why for me, if I'm looking at eBay just for random run fillers, I try to look at one seller that has a bunch of listings at a decent price where I can save on shipping, because I get consolidated shipping, or I just, if it's something that I really need, you're paying for the ability to not leave your house, right? And have to travel somewhere. And I've done that where, say, I don't want to spend the gas money to drive all the way to a comic book shop, right? And I need this one book because, like, I'm reading the run or something. I'm willing to pay a few extra dollars just to get my hands on this book from this seller, for me to buy it, sitting at home on my phone or my computer, for them to ship it to me. All right. But what this individual was talking about here was a key book. Now, the irony of this is that, honestly, there's a lot of times where you might be able to find key books on eBay for cheaper than your LCS. Two ways. One, because a lot that you see on eBay is going to be an open bid, right? You can bid on it. It's going to be an auction. You might have the ability to put a final bid and get it for a decent price that is less than your LCS, okay? Now, let's go into what this individual was saying about, I don't want eBay prices, okay? I looked up this book, the Art Adams Strange Academy #1 variant. This book is averaging about $50 right now, guys. Okay, so first off, this isn't a $500 to $1,000 book, something crazy. Where a $50 difference would be a substantial savings, right? This is a book that's about $50 where and I looked at the sold. There's not too many sold, but it's pretty consistent, $40 to $50, right? Now, so my question to this individual is, what do you want the book at? What do you want? What's fair market value to you? Is it $45 because you just want a few bucks off so it can cover shipping costs? Is it $30? Is it $20? Or are you expecting to pay cover price still? What does not eBay prices mean? What does that even mean in this specific situation? And here's the argument that I got pushed back on me. First off, I was told that I'm a bad business person because I don't know what I'm talking about. But let me use this as an example, guys. If you're online asking for a book at lower than what that book is selling for online, it's like this. It's like you going into a store and wanting an item, right? No matter what that item is. Okay? And that store sold it for X amount of dollars the day before, right? They've been selling them for X amount of dollars, right? And you walk in line and you got people behind you. And the person in front of you bought that item for X amount of dollars. The person behind you is willing to buy that item at X amount of dollars. But you're saying, nah, I want this item and I want it cheaper than what that person in front of me paid and what this person behind me is willing to pay. Would you, as the owner of that business, sell that item to this individual that's saying, I want you to sell me that item at less than what the person behind me is willing to pay? Is that business owner going to sell you that item? No, absolutely not. Why? They're going to say, nah, I'm good. Hey, here you go. They're going to sell it to the person behind you that's willing to pay that amount. So that's, to me, in my humble opinion, is what this individual was doing. This individual was saying, this book is making X amount of dollars right now, but I want it for cheaper because I don't think that X amount is fair. Just because it's on eBay. Now, keep in mind, there's some things to consider here when selling on eBay, all right? There's eBay fees, right? So if you are selling a book, say, on Facebook Marketplace or a Facebook group, there's no fees involved, right? If you're using PayPal and you don't send friends and family, there could still be some fees there. So when sellers sell on eBay, they might consider trying to bump that price up a little more than, say, fair market value. So if a book is fair market value at about $50, right? And maybe they're listing on eBay and selling it for $55 because they're adding a few extra dollars to maybe cover some fees and to still see if it would sell. That's understandable. But there's still a problem with trying to demand a seller sell you something under what the obvious fair market value is on any platform. And that's called character, right? I, as a businessman, see that as bad character, and I'm not going to want to sell it to you. There's a difference between trying to demand what a seller sells his book at than, say, negotiating a fair price. And let's go back to this, and I've talked about this before. Let's go back to the rights and the freedoms of a seller and a buyer. Talked about this before. The seller has the right to set their price as low or as high as they want. If a book's fair market value is $50 and they want to go on Facebook Marketplace or a Facebook group or eBay and ask for $100 for it, they have the freedom to do that. But it doesn't mean it's going to sell. Now, as a buyer, the buyer has the right and the freedom to negotiate. Always, always. You always have the right to negotiate. Hey, I see you listed this for $50. Would you take 40? There's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with demanding a seller to sell to you at lower than what that seller can sell it for to somebody else. And that's the moral of the story here, guys. It's really, and this is my tip to you buyers out there, it's about the approach that you take. It's about character. It's about that first impression, because every transaction you do between buyer and seller is a relationship. It is a relationship. It's a relationship that might happen once. It's a relationship that might happen more than once. And just like a seller wants to build a trustworthy relationship with a buyer, a seller wants to have a trustworthy relationship with the buyer. Did I say a buyer wants to have a trustworthy relationship with the seller, and the seller wants to have a trustworthy relationship with the buyer? It goes both ways. And when you come into a comic book sell and trade group and you say, and I don't want eBay prices, that's a no-no. As a seller, I would never sell to you. Now, even if I posted a book at a price that I'm asking, and you're like, I want to buy that book at the price that I'm going to be hesitant. I'm still going to be hesitant because of that, first impression of what I got from you as a buyer. Again, what's another way that this individual could have handled it? First off, they should have just said, I'm in search of this book. Does anybody have one for sale? Don't even talk about price. Don't even talk about price. See who has it. See who has it. And then they can list their books. They can email you or private message you. Then you can say, what are you asking for? And then you start the negotiations. Then you could do your due diligence. You can look at eBay and say, well, they're selling for $50 on eBay. You got to keep in mind that there's fees involved. So maybe I can negotiate with this seller if he sells it to me off of eBay and just via Facebook. Maybe I could talk him down $5, $6, $7. Hey, $50, would you be willing to sell it to me, friends and family, at $43 or something like that? You see what I'm saying here, guys? There's ethics, there's a way of doing this, there's professionalism around this from both the seller and the buyer. So that's my video for today, guys. I hope that I broke that down in a clear and concise manner. I want to know what you guys think. Again, it's all about the tone and the approach that you take as a buyer. Never feel timid. Never feel pressured to be forced to pay something that you're not comfortable with, and never be shy to ask. Never be shy about negotiating, but you have to be respectful. You have to do it in an appropriate way that is respectful, and that is ethical, and that is of a business tact. Coming off saying what this individual did was not a good way to get anyone to want to sell you a book. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Again, link to my Patreon is below. Link to my official merch is below as well. Make sure you check out some merch. Help support the channel. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you on this road to 3K subs. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.